Terrifying, netizens uncover abandoned villages with untouched mansions. Where did everyone go? China's tourism in crisis, Sanya deserted, Zhujiagu guide threatens tourists over shopping refusal. Airbags fail to deploy. China's EV market faces alarming safety issues. What went wrong in the $100 billion industry? Shocking footage and reports have emerged from multiple provinces in China, showing entire villages abandoned, homes left intact, with personal belongings untouched, but no sign of their residents. While Chinese authorities maintain silence, citizens are raising the alarm. A growing number of online posts claim that 2025 has brought an unprecedented wave of deaths, with many noting a disturbing pattern: a high number of young adults, particularly those born in the 1980s and 1990s, dying suddenly and without clear cause. Many symptoms resemble COVID-19, but are dismissed as minor illnesses until it's too late. Several reports mention cases turning into severe lung conditions, commonly referred to as white lung, and leading to sudden death, especially among healthy working-age individuals. In Xinjiang, Henan, one local resident recounted knowing several young Communist Party members who died unexpectedly. Online data showing elevated mortality rates among millennials triggered intense public debate, especially since the reported death rates for people born in the 1980s and 1990s stand at 5.2% and 3%, respectively. Authorities responded by denying the claims and punishing those spreading them. Still, users continued sharing personal accounts, some pointing to local funeral home screens that list several young individuals aged 14 to 31 among the recent deceased. One villager in Joku, Henan, described waves of deaths due to fever, pneumonia, and heart or brain complications. Overcrowded hospitals couldn't cope, leading many to die at home. He claimed burials replaced cremations as families struggled with funeral costs, and even government officials turned a blind eye to the shift. He added that nearly every village in his region, housing hundreds or thousands of residents, has seen significant loss of life, particularly among younger people. No one is questioning what's happening, he said. This sense of emptiness isn't just rural. Urban areas feel eerily quiet. Shops, streets, and malls are noticeably empty. While some attribute this to returning migrant workers after factory closures, the countryside also shows signs of mass disappearance. A vlogger traveling through Hunan discovered entire neighborhoods of modern homes swallowed by weeds and decay. Inside, rooms remained clean and stocked, yet doors stood ajar, suggesting a sudden unplanned departure. Footage from Tengzhou's Hulusao village shows abandoned multi-story homes. A local elderly resident, one of just 16 remaining households from a peak of over 400 people, confirmed the mass exodus. And this isn't limited to Hunan. Similar ghost villages have been identified in Hubei, Henan, Hebei, Guangxi, and Yunnan. One area, once home to over 10,000 people, now hosts barely 10 families. Buildings bear sealed doors, welded shut with steel plates. Some question whether China's population remains near its official 1.4 billion. A widely shared statistic adds fuel to speculation. According to a Japanese analysis based on Chinese industry data, China's raw salt production dropped 25% from 2019 to 2022, a potentially telling indicator of reduced demand tied to population decline. China's tourism sector is facing a major downturn. Once popular destinations like Sanya in Hainan province are now seeing a sharp drop in visitors. Hotels and guest houses are slashing prices to attract customers, but bookings remain scarce. Industry insiders say the slowdown has two main causes. First, China's economic slump is pushing people to tighten their budgets and travel less. Second, years of tourist exploitation in cities like Sanya have damaged public trust. One online comment bluntly summed it up. China's tourism industry destroyed itself. For Gong Tongmu, who has run a boutique guest house in Sanya for over a decade, the change is striking. In previous years, prices would rise steadily from November through the Chinese New Year. Now he begins each day by lowering rates, sometimes by 30 to 50 yuan. Rooms that once fetched 300 to 400 yuan now struggle to sell for even 100. Sanya's reputation has taken a hit due to recurring reports of tourist mistreatment. One viral story involves a visitor who, while scuba diving, was pressured by a dive coach to pay extra for a full-face mask. When he declined, the coach allegedly dunked him underwater, forcing him to pay 300 yuan to avoid further distress, then charged another 300 for underwater photos. More cases have surfaced. In November 2023, a tourist named Ms. Zhang visited Sanya with her extended family. Their villa stay included a free yacht trip, during which 4 family members went diving. Despite declining offers for paid photos, the divers reported that their masks were forcibly removed underwater until they agreed to buy the photo package. Such aggressive sales tactics aren't limited to the coast. In Sichuan's Zhujiaigu scenic area, tourists on a group tour said they were left stranded in freezing temperatures after refusing to shop at a designated store. One traveler, Mr. Wang, said the tour bus stopped in a remote area in sub-zero weather. The guide demanded he sign a release form and leave the group for not cooperating with shopping requirements. When he refused and insisted on staying with the group without being forced to spend, the guide contacted the tour company and blamed him for influencing the entire group. After being left in the freezing cold for over 20 minutes, the trip resumed. Without the guide, who quit mid-tour, the group completed the itinerary without further forced shopping. These incidents have raised serious concerns about consumer rights and the ethics of China's tourism practices. Is this just a temporary slump, or a deeper crisis for an industry long criticized for putting profit before people? Once hailed as the future of transportation, China's electric vehicle, or new energy vehicle, NEV, industry is now spiraling into crisis. A viral video shows rows of untouched EVs, some still wrapped in plastic, abandoned in overgrown fields. All were registered in 2019. Today, they sit unused, essentially brand new vehicles tossed aside like junk. This haunting image is a stark symbol of a collapsing industry. In January 2025, monthly sales of China's EVs plummeted. Many companies reported drops of over 50%. According to informal statistics, in the past 10 years, 23 Chinese new energy vehicle companies have completed and planned an annual production capacity of 13.55 million vehicles, with an investment of 685.3 billion renminbi. Another 16 car companies, including WM Motor, Skyworth, and Singularity, have declared bankruptcy or have no sales. Out of more than 20 major EV makers that had ramped up production over the past decade, only 8 remain standing. Industry giants like WM, Motor, Singulato, and Byton have gone bankrupt or disappeared without a trace. This collapse isn't just economic, it's structural. For years, China's EV boom was fueled not by market demand, but by state subsidies and political agendas. In 2014, the Chinese government declared NEVs a priority and poured billions into production. Local governments joined in, offering land, factories, and tax breaks to attract startups. With Tesla entering the Chinese market and raising consumer awareness, enthusiasm surged. But it wasn't sustainable. Once international tariffs tightened and domestic overproduction led to brutal price wars, the bubble burst. Add to that a broader economic slowdown and growing concerns over vehicle quality, and the industry started unraveling. Take WM Motor as an example. It once trailed only behind BYD in domestic sales. It raised over 40 billion yuan in investment. Today, its offices are abandoned, its vehicles unsold, and its former customers struggling to find insurance or spare parts. Then there's the massive depreciation. A NIO ES8 that cost over 600,000 yuan a few years ago now fetches barely 100,000 on the second-hand market, if anyone will buy it. A Li Auto that was once worth 350,000 yuan, now under 100,000. Why such a dramatic fall from grace? First, the foundation was shaky. China's NEV sector wasn't built by market demand, but by central planning. As economist David Huang points out, even the term new energy vehicle is unique to China, used to greenwash production and inflate climate statistics. Second, the quality hasn't kept up. Customers are now reporting horrifying failures. Airbags that don't deploy during high-speed crashes, vehicles breaking down within weeks of purchase, and rusting undercarriages within 3 years. One Xiaomi EV owner said their car broke down in downtown Shenzhen, and roadside assistance never showed up, despite 2 calls and over an hour of waiting. In short, consumers feel cheated. China's NEV sector is facing a reckoning. Once the pride of national policy and a symbol of green progress, it now risks becoming another cautionary tale of what happens when politics overrides performance. As the dream of a clean electric future gives way to bankruptcy and broken promises, the real question now is, can trust ever be restored?